All right. Well, want to say what's up to you guys, man. I'm in here working out, and I had a message come across my my notification that Pastor Dowell was speaking on some issues concerning the Trump administration and what the Biden administration what they currently are doing. Now, the one thing that the one thing that I do is when I speak about something, I make sure that I quote other individuals. What I learned a long time ago, what's going on, Leonard? What I learned a long time ago is that people don't like Chris. Um, I learned that um, when I used to get about 50 FU comments a day, individuals that was with me on that time, when I used to talk about issues that us black men were going through against the tide of BS against us, I used to speak from a perspective of just me as a philosopher. I didn't use the term analytical, being analytical at the time, but now I understand that when you talk from the perspective of someone else saying, then that really shuts the mouth and individuals can no longer question you. For example, when I speak, I always say the great blah, 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 or this person or that person. And I normally get rebutted with an interpretation of what they are saying. And I say, well, that's why they said that, and that's why. So I've learned this 5 years ago. This is why when I talk about issues that we go through, I play commentary. Especially when I talk about commentary, I say the Sister Shalakemia. I also learned when I was talking, this is why somebody said, Chris, you ain't saying nothing new. Sister Shahrazad Ali was talking about how our women treat us a long time ago. So, as James Lewis once said, when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. I was told today that, in fact, that's not his quote. And okay. But when I talk about the Democrats, I get a lot of individuals that speak from the perspective of, well, that's what you think. And because you think that, that's not what it is. So now I want y'all to remember the original name for this channel was Facts at 100%. Then I realized that people don't like facts. So instead of Facts, I had to change the name to the hated one. I may go back to Facts at 100%, or I may just turn this into the Chris Smith Show. I'll get to that at a little later date. But I want to play to you guys something that Pastor Dowell was talking about. Now, when I talk about Donald Trump, I talk from the perspective of my opinion because there was, it's just happened. History didn't give us enough time yet to, whereas though 10 years from now, from now, 10 years ago would be in the past. So 10 years from now, we can look back and then say, well, the great said this about Donald Trump. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to remind y'all of some things that I said about the Trump administration. I said that if you voted for him as a black person, you need to get your head examined. I don't understand. I even use harsh words. I said you dumb. I use a lot of things. And people will listen to me and say, well, you're wrong and blah, 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 blah. Now, I say it from the perspective that I say it based on shock value, but I also say it from the perspective of I can't believe and I can't understand. Now, people that drive, we are seeing an influx in the price of gas. And we are seeing an influx in the price of gas because the Democrats are just, it's business as usual. Now, when I talk about the Democrats, I speak about the Democrat from the perspective that no one else says it. And let me introduce this perspective. What I always say, is if I invite you to a pizza party, that doesn't mean bring a birthday cake. A pizza party means you must bring a pizza. If I invite you to a birthday party, then that's when there's a birthday cake involved. Now, when I tell people that, they say, dag, he come up with another perspective. He's so analytical. Oh my gosh, this guy's too smart. I hate him. Hey, get it? The hated one? So I said, how could you think that a person that's invited that's part of the Democratic Party is going to do something from the perspective of helping black people? Never in the history of the Democratic Party have they gave 2 cents about black people. But black people said, oh, well, Donald Trump is racist. I said, well, how is that he gave us the best unemployment in our lifetime? I was talking to a black man about 2 weeks ago. He said Donald Trump ain't do SHIT. Now, since people love pastors in the black community, I think that it's only right that I help you guys understand. I'm going to give you the words from a pastor. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Pastor Dowell. I'm going to let him speak to y'all.
Some experts will tell you that you can write a...
Hello, I don't want to talk to you right now. Hold on. Okay, here you go.
Biden administration, because unlike many people, I don't see this greatness that's allegedly supposed to be coming from his administration, all that was promised. As a matter of fact, what I see more than anything is I see jobs disappearing on an unprecedented level. And I do mean an unprecedented level. Hundreds of thousands of jobs have already been stroked away with a pen. I like to call it executive joke. And, I understand there's an executive branch, there's a legislative branch, and there's a judicial branch here in America. Believe me, I get it. But I wonder how long we as American people are going to continue to keep putting up with the same old rhetoric and the same old hot air continually again and again.
Now, what that man just said was jobs just got eliminated with one stroke of the pen. So this is what Democrats do. This isn't, oh, but this Democrat is going to get in there. He's going to change stuff. That's not what Democrats do. Democrats want to suffocate the economy so you can rely on them. Democrats don't give 2 cents about America. They never have. Again
and again. I mean, if we look at the facts of everything, and I'm dealing with facts here.
Oh!
Donald Trump helped the economy.
Let's back it up.
All right, let's have a real talk and a real discussion here about this Biden administration. Because unlike many people, I don't see this greatness that's allegedly supposed to be coming from his administration, all that was promised. As a matter of fact, what I see more than anything is I see jobs disappearing on an unprecedented level. And I do mean an unprecedented level. Hundreds of thousands of jobs have already been stroked away with a pen. I like to call them executive joke. And, I understand there's an executive branch, there's a legislative branch, and there's a judicial branch here in America. Believe me, I get it. But I wonder how long we as American people are going to continue to keep putting up with the same old rhetoric and the same old hot air continually again and again and again and again. I mean, we look at the facts of everything, and I'm dealing with facts here. Donald Trump helped the economy and stimulate the economy more than any president. And I'm talking about on the heels of when he inherited $24 trillion in debt that we already in this country. And he has stimulated this economy. And here's the big thing right here. When it comes to so-called alleged, quote-unquote, diplomacy, we really, truly can't argue with the man for putting America first. Because when you look at all the other presidents besides Reagan, they didn't put America first. As a matter of fact, we come dead last. And Joe Biden has done nothing but just continue business as usual. Executive order after executive order, impoverishing the people. I did a live broadcast the other day when one lady at a town hall meeting up there was asking for debt relief because most people say that they can't even get to school. Matter of fact, you can't even go to college unless you indentured yourself or unless you get in debt. And of course, I tell people all the time, don't be a fool and go to college in this type of environment, this economic sick environment right here. Um, do whatever you can to save whatever money you have, but don't go out there and get in debt because you don't get debt forgiveness for hospital bills. You don't get debt forgiveness for student loans. You can forget it. It ain't happening. And Joe told her flat out he ain't getting it. And then all I heard was a bunch of blah, 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 rhetoric, 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 and a bunch of cognitive issues. Uh, uh, and then I saw Anderson Cooper run in to do damage control many, many times where they were softballing that whole entire interview right there. And I just like, man, I was like, I wonder how long this thing is going to take afloat before a real revolution comes. That's what I wonder. Because whether don't get me wrong. That's the reason why on my Facebook page, allegedly, February is supposed to be Black History Month. So I've been posting Black history. And I've been taking it on the chin because the people, they want to hear Black history in the vein and lenses that they want to hear it in, but they don't want to hear Black history from the perspective and point of view of a Black man that knows Black history. And of course, it causes people to get upset and whatever it is. But hey, getting back on this real quick, I don't see anything that Joe Biden has done that has brought about any positive change to America whatsoever at all. As a matter of fact, if we were already on a decline, he has all but ensured that we're on the toboggan slide to hell. I mean, it is bad. It is really, really, really bad out here. And listen, here's the physical health of this country right here. Print money, debt for everything. Now, are you not amazed how we have billions upon billions upon billions of dollars for every country, for everybody outside the United States of America, and then we're struggling to pass a stimulus bill, which was supposed to be $2,000. Now they can't even get $1,400 off the debt. And of course, I'm not for that myself either. I'm just literally not for it because I know what it's going to do. It's going to bring the prices of goods and services up real high.
Yep.
Who'd ever thought that the most popular president that has ever hit United States history, the United States of America, Joe Biden, who has over 80 or 90 million votes and just blanketed Donald Trump in a landslide. Who would ever thought that this most popular, intelligent, has it all together president right here, the Messiah savior of the world, the world leader of the free world, who would ever thought that once he got into office, that everything that him and Kamala Harris has ever said, the very direct opposite is that we're actually being more impoverished and we're going to hell, basically, in a handbasket. Who would have thought? You would have thought he would use his intelligence for something greater than that, huh?
He said it. Now allow me. Allow me. Let's just face facts. You can promise Black people a bun and a couple of fries and you'll get their vote. Let's face facts. Because he said it. Now I'm gonna just go ahead and put my spin on it. This is what makes me the hated one. When I talk about what has gone on, when I talk about the love that Donald Trump had for this country, when I talk about the position that he put us in, when I talk about the fact that this man did everything because I care and love Black people, it just throws me when I seen these individuals get in office and Black women all over the world praise the fact that they had a Black woman in office and she ain't Black. This is people. I tell you guys all the time. I haven't told you it in a while. Stupidity is my kryptonite. I just can't understand how Black people can be so dumb. I just don't understand it. I don't understand how black people can embrace, oh, we got a black women just, oh, we got a black female in office and she's about to choke. Well, the administration itself is what Pastor Dowell, pastor, okay? What he just said now, we are about to go into an abyss. We are about to get choked out. Black people, know your damn place when it comes to Democrats. This is what I've been trying to tell you guys for the longest. But the black ugly guy on YouTube who everybody just listen to, and oh, he thinks he knows what he's talking about, and nope. Now gas prices are going up and jobs are disappearing, and now black people are going to complain. Oh, dear my. But I told individuals, and you were forewarned that this was going to happen. But nope. You see, the problem is when your vision is only one or two steps ahead, you think with a perspective of not so much as a person whose vision is 20 steps ahead. When you understand and you're educated, you understand the perspective a lot different from those that are uneducated. Here's the problem. When you try to educate the ignorant, boy, you will only equal the ignorant. It's just amazing. They say don't hate the messenger, hate the message. But in the black community, they just hate the messenger. It don't matter what the message is. It don't matter. This man is just eliminating job after job after job, and this man is in bed with China because you know what? He don't give 2 cents about black people. So let me just give you my perspective. For all y'all individuals out there, for all the guys out there, it's about to get worse for the fact that there are no jobs. For all the black women out there, please stop it with the we got a black president, female vice president. Please stop. If anything, please do the proper introduction with we got a female vice president. Say we got a female Democratic president. Please just don't forget the word Democrat. Please don't. Please stop disassociating this woman with a Democrat. Please stop. Please, please. You're killing me. You really can killing me. And I'm just glad that Pastor Dow broke it down the way he did. Because when I said it, oh, you didn't know what you was talking about. Oh, there are different degrees of understanding. Oh no, this man is he's not racist. He's not racist. Here's the thing that I said. The issue with black folks, it seems as though as long as a person is not racist. It doesn't matter. They hang black kids. They destroy black families. I don't care. He's not racist. They eliminate jobs, but he's not racist. Oh, they want to go help other countries and don't want to do nothing for you. It doesn't matter. He's not racist. Y'all just it's amazing. And I want to just be clear. I just want to be clear. There, I want to be clear. There's more. Pastor Dow says some more. I just hate being right. Oh, dear my. So, hold on. Hold on.
You need help.
I'm gonna play this part too, then I'm gonna go finish working out. Hold on. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube, Pastor Dowell here. Well, it looks like that the Senate Republicans has got the Biden administration literally. All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube, Pastor Dowell here. Well, it looks like that the Senate Republicans has got the Biden administration literally by the proverbial throat. And we all know that Joe Biden and his administration is in lockstep with Beijing, China. I mean, he's just him and his son, Hunter Biden, and the whole entire administration. They are all for China. Only one problem, though. Only one problem. All right. There's a senator by the name of Rick Scott and a representative that's just already introduced new legislation to reintroduce the bill of protecting Taiwan from China. Now, what's going on now? The only way that the Democrats can actually win, matter of fact, I can't see any way possible that they're going to win. They're going to have to either one way or the other, because if they choose to support the bill, then they end up making an enemy with Beijing or China even more so. So whatever's going on behind the scenes, Trump and the Republicans, they've literally got the Biden administration by the throat, or the proverbial short hairs. See, Biden cannot just ignore this, because lately what he's been doing, he's been acting, mute on this particular subject right here, and he's been trying to put distance on it in order to try to keep his image up. But see, this is a very serious issue, because under the Trump administration, we had Taiwan back, and of course, China's their position is that Taiwan is part of us, and we can't have them going out being a rogue nation. They need to be joined in with us. They can't be going out here being a rogue providence, any way, shape, fashion, or form. And even if we have to use military force. Now, Donald Trump and them have already said that Taiwan is a free and independent nation and stuff. And of course, the interest of that is because you have to understand, China's trying to take over that whole entire region over there. The whole entire region. So if Biden decides to support this legislation, which mandates U.S. military aid to Taiwan, in the event of a China invasion, he's going to lose Beijing as a friend. At the same time, he doesn't want to turn around and lose everything that has been gained by having Taiwan being accepted as our democratic ally over there in the region, because it's a damn good staging point for us militarily. He's going to have to make a choice of decision. He's got they got the Democrats right by the proverbial throat. You're going to have to do something. Now, the only thing I can see that the Democrats are going to try to do is they're going to try to softball this thing like the news media does with him, and they're going to try to kick this issue down the line, and they're going to do everything they can to prevent it from getting to the president's desk, Biden's desk. See, now all the little easy stuff, the little soft gloves, the word salad, the softballing of questions and stuff, and the kid gloves and stuff. As we continue to keep going deeper into this administration right here, the gloves are coming off. And now you can't just go around loving everybody in the free world stuff. Tough choices and tough decisions are going to have to be made. And we're going to really truly see what type of man he really is. Now, most of us who already know Biden's record, we know who he is. But boy, this one, you definitely need to get your popcorn out on.
I so love what he just said. He said, individuals who know the history of Biden, we already know who he is. Let's be clear about something. Everybody knows who he is. Blacks know who he is. It is amazing how if you put let's take some. What's going on, Greg? I see you, brother. What's going on, Leonard? My man says, yo. Let me break something down to you like this. If there's a person that hate dogs, and you have a cute little poodle, and they say, well, I don't like dogs. I don't like dogs. They're not cute. I don't like dogs. That person is going to hate dogs, right? And then a person gets that hates dogs, they get bit by a pit bull, and then they really understand the structure and the classes of dogs. So now they hate dogs because they got bit by the pit bull. They say, well, I can be around dogs long as it's not a pit bull. So it's only because they said, no, I don't like dogs. And then they said, they looked at the little cute little poodle. They wanted to be petted and didn't have no problem. And then they say, well, now I can deal with dogs, but I hate pit bulls. They now understand the structure of hate when it comes to dogs. That's what happened with Donald Trump. What happened with Donald Trump is people, because he said, we already know, the people that know who he is already know. Everybody knew what Joe Biden was. Everybody. The reason why Joe Biden got into office like he did is because everybody hated Donald Trump. It did not matter. A goat could have ran for president and would have won. And what he said in his video was, he said, wait a minute. This dude landslid Donald Trump. Donald Trump just looked at like a cornball compared to the vote. But then he gets into office, and you would think that this man should have proceeded, or should have eclipsed the greatness that we've seen from Donald Trump. But instead, we are getting jobs that are leaving on a scale that's cataclysmic. Things are just happening, and the reason why things are happening is for one reason and one reason only. That one word that blacks just seem to always want to associate with, the brand of hate. Donald Trump, let me do my dance. Donald Trump was racist. Now, I've said this over and over and over again, but individuals seem to have forgotten. So allow me to talk about this topic here. Allow me, because today is just the day that I'm going to just be breaking down some things. I'm going to be talking about something. This is just a throw in. It's just something I just feel good today, and I want to help. Excuse me. I want to help individuals understand what Pastor Dowell said. It wasn't what you thought it was. Let us now listen to this.
Society. It fights against economic inequality. Today's Democratic Party believes that government has an important role to play in society. It fights against economic inequality. It advocates policies that battle racial and gender discrimination. But it wasn't always this way. The Democratic Party was once the party of white supremacy, supporting slavery and the Ku Klux Klan. To understand how the party made such a huge shift, you have to go back to its origins in the mid-1820s, when it sprung up supporting the presidential candidacy of a popular former general, Andrew Jackson. Jackson was an outsider, challenging the political establishment and the elites of his day, and his critics disparaged him as a jackass. But Jackson embraced the animal as a symbol of determination, and donkeys started appearing in newspapers to represent him and his followers. In the 1828 presidential election, which saw record-breaking popular participation, Jackson won in a landslide victory. So his supporters argued that they, and not the old elites, represented the popular will of the country, and they started calling themselves the Democratic Party. Jackson's administration immediately began expelling Native Americans living east of the Mississippi River, an issue that defined the new administration. After he signed the Indian Removal Act into law in 1830, 5 large tribes were rounded up and forcibly marched into territories and camps further west. And the Democrats' ambitions didn't stop there. In the 1840s, the party adopted the doctrine of manifest destiny, the idea that Americans, white Americans, were divinely entitled to dominate the whole North American continent. Democratic President James K. Polk put this idea into action, massively expanding U.S. holdings by annexing Texas, acquiring Oregon, and winning much of what's now the southwestern U.S. in a war with Mexico. But soon afterward, national politics devolved into bitter controversy over whether new states entering the Union should be permitted to allow slavery. Democrats said they should, since their support base was strongest in slaveholding states. Yet a new Northern party, the Republicans, sprang up in opposition to expanding slavery any further. When Republican Abraham Lincoln won the presidency, the South seceded and the Civil War began. Once the Civil War was over, the Republican Party was bitterly unpopular among white Southerners who wanted to maintain supremacy over former slaves.
Wow. I want to stop that right there. What that man just said was the Republican Party was unpopular amongst white people. Unpopular amongst white people. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Donald Trump was a white man. A lot of people called him Orange Man. Okay, well, and he did things to help black folks. He did things to put us in a position that we had not seen in my lifetime, job wise. Because that's what you want, jobs. You don't want stimulus checks. You don't want debt relief. You want a job. You want to be able to provide for yourself. That's what you want. This white man did this under the context of the Republican Party. So let me. I'm just rambling on here. Don't pay me no mind. If you got to go to the bathroom or something, the time is now. So the Republican Party was unpopular, excuse me, with whites that was all for slavery. They wanted slavery. How is that any different in the 1800s? How is that any different today? Well, the difference is today is that black people are now promised an old can of corn that got a dent in it and don't know what the condition of the contents. And they're promised that we will be down with you. And we are told that you ain't black if you don't vote for me. That's the difference. So, did the Democrat Party platform change or did the people get stupider? Hmm. 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 Did the Democrat Party change or did the black people get dumber? Because when I use the word dumb, people say I'm harsh. They be like, Chris, you so harsh. Chris, you so harsh. Oh, here you go again. Here we go again. He shouldn't be saying that. He shouldn't. Oh, he should be nice. Oh, he's just, he just got so much hate in his heart, not understanding that I'm trying to educate. Because what that man just said, what the Republican Party was unpopular amongst whites. Because once again, I tell individuals, you can put whatever you want in a party. It's got nothing to do with that person. They represent the party. My man Greg says Joe Biden ruined everything. You know what, Greg? You can't tell that to blacks. You can't tell them that. Once again, the most the individuals that are more happy and studies have shown that black men, we were voting for Republicans, and our women was voting Democrats. And then there's a woman in vice president that is a woman, and all the black women claim, oh, we got a sister in office. And you can't tell them nothing. This is where we are divided at. But people, it was said in this book back in 1989, we were divided. We don't get along. Let's be clear. We don't get along. This is why the Democratic Party is so popular, because they sell a bunch of BS. And when there's no logic, BS sounds like it's the smartest thing in the world. When there's no logic, BS sounds like it's poetry. Joe Biden sounds like he's poetry. Now, what Pastor Dowell just said was, Pastor Dowell said, for those that know who Joe Biden is, they know. Everybody knew what Joe Biden was. Everybody knew what Joe Biden was. Everybody knew. But once again, the fact that a Democrat was running, a goat could have beat Donald Trump. Because in the eyes of black people, by the way, let me refrain that. A goat could have beat Donald Trump. You know why? Because the only thing black people know is the word racism. The ultimate hate to a black person is all you got to do is be white, and all you got to do is say he's racist. That's it. That's it. That's all you got to say. You put those two words together, that's all you need.
So the Democratic Party promised to limit federal government intervention on behalf of black citizens. Democrats became effectively the only political party in the South, aided by intimidation and suppression of black voters. Democrats also won on state and local levels, leading to the constant abuse of the rights of black citizens. As the 20th century began, the country was changing, and the Democratic Party was changing too. A handful of individuals and corporations had grown enormously rich and powerful, using their vast fortunes to influence politics. And as a reaction to this, some reformers began pushing an agenda of progressivism, arguing that the government should take more of a role in regulating big businesses and improving ordinary people's lives. At first, these progressive reformers were present in both parties, but it was Democrat Woodrow Wilson who won the presidency in 1912 and put much of this agenda into action over Republican resistance. So the Democratic Party became the main home for progressives.
Now, I don't know if y'all caught what he just said, so allow me. What he just said is that that politics have become more corporate than everything. How did politics become more corporate than anything, and how is that now? How are we seeing that today? The vaccine is invented by Pfizer. Do you not think that Pfizer is glad that they're pushing? Excuse me. They are pushing this. They are pushing this COVID vaccine agenda. Who's going to make money? They put everything in place. The Democrats. There are some states that did not even participate with this protocol of COVID, and there's nothing wrong. There are countries that didn't participate, and there nothing happened. But there you go. Greg said big businesses. The Democrats. And this is should be a beacon of light. What's going on, Deshaun? He's up in this. Um, there are Democrats like what's her name? Whatchamacallit? Costa. What's her name? Um, Maria Cortez. Yeah, Miss Cortez. She was a bartender and then got into office. And now a bartender, a woman that was a bartender, is making decisions from the perspective of just like business as usual amongst Democrats. You would think that as a bartender, that woman would sat down there and be sitting at a bar listening to people's problems. I know it because when I drive for Lyft, I hear people's problems. And as a person that has a high intellect, I get to hear people talking about their issues. Do you think that everybody go to a bar from the perspective of, boy, I just hit the lottery, it's good to be in here? You would think that a bartender would sit down there and would be listening to people talk about their issues, problems, and perspectives. That woman got into office, and what did Whoopi Goldberg tell this woman? Slow down, get to know the business, and knock it off. That's what Whoopi Goldberg said. Whoopi Goldberg said, I mean, gee whiz, chill, get to know the business first. Nope, she jumped in there and became the spokesperson, right? Donald Trump was a billionaire, knew economics better than just about anybody. But he was deemed a racist. He was deemed a racist. And for those that don't know, I just don't understand it. But because in the community you guys call black, whenever you speak of intellect, see, if I was a light-skinned dude, I was pretty, I was buff, and I just had a suave, smooth debonair to the way that I spoke, I would have a lot of people listening to me. But people listen to me and they be like, that black ugly, I hate him. He probably eat dookie patties. I bet he stink. He just no. He can't possibly. That's CG technology. He ain't in a studio. No, he's a deadbeat cornball whore. I mean, they just hate me. They hate me. They just hate me. Why? Because I'm not supposed to be this intellectual. I'm supposed to speak from the perspective of ignorance. I don't supposed to speak based on facts. Pastor Dowell, he said, I'm speaking based on facts. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to play, because I got more people in here. Let's play this one more again. Let's play this. Let's play this one more again. Then I'm gonna kick it over to I'm gonna kick it over to Mrs. Carol Swain.
Talking real discussion here about this Biden administration, because unlike many people, I don't see this greatness that's allegedly supposed to be coming from this administration. All that was promised. As a matter of fact, what I see more than anything is I see jobs disappearing on an unprecedented level. and I do mean an unprecedented level. Hundreds of thousands of jobs have already been stroked away with a pen. I like to call him Executive Joe. And, I understand there's an executive branch, there's a legislative branch, and there's a judicial branch here in America. Believe me, I get it. I get it. But I wonder how long we as American people are going to continue to keep putting up with the same old rhetoric and the same old hot air continually again and again and again and again. I mean, we look at the facts of everything, and I'm dealing with facts here. Donald Trump helped the economy and stimulate the economy more than any president. And I'm talking about on the heels of when he inherited 20 something, $24 trillion in debt that we already in this country. And he has stimulated this economy. And here's the big thing right here. When it comes to so-called alleged, quote unquote, diplomacy, we really truly can't argue with the man for putting America first. Because when you look at all the other presidents besides Reagan, they didn't put America first. As a matter of fact, we come dead last. And Joe Biden has done nothing but just continue business as usual. Executive order after executive order, impoverishing the people. I did a live broadcast the other day when one lady at a town hall meeting up there was asking for debt relief, because most people say that they can't even get to school. Matter of fact, you can't even go to college unless you indenture yourself or unless you get in debt. And of course, I tell people all the time, don't be a fool and go to college in this type of environment, this economic sick environment right here. Do whatever you can to save whatever money you have, but don't go out there and get in debt, because you don't get debt forgiveness for hospital bills. You don't get debt forgiveness for student loans. You can forget it. It ain't happening. And Joe told her flat out he ain't getting it. And then all I heard was a bunch of blah, 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 rhetoric, and a bunch of cognitive issues. And then I saw Anderson Cooper run in to do damage control many, many times where they were softballing that whole entire interview right there. And I was like, I wonder how long this thing is going to take afloat before a real revolution comes. That's what I wonder. Because don't get me wrong. That's the reason why on my Facebook page, allegedly, February is supposed to be Black History Month. So I've been posting Black history, and I've been taking it on the chin, because the people, they want to hear Black history in the vein and lens that they want to hear it in, but they don't want to hear Black history from the perspective and point of view of a Black man that knows Black history. And of course, it causes people to get upset and whatever it is. But hey, getting back on this real quick, I don't see anything that Joe Biden has done that has brought about any positive change to America whatsoever at all. As a matter of fact, if we were already on the decline.
People, let me step in here and say something. I'm an introvert. I used to be in joke battles. I'm gonna go left for a second. I used to be in joke battles. I'm just going to give you segue back into this. I used to be, I used to be in joke battles, and I would go to Michael Crawley's house on 11th Street in Newark, New Jersey, and I used to battle Mike. I used to go to my friend Lydia's house. Lydia got 10 brothers and sisters, and they got a big family, and I used to go to her house and joke battle people. And I remember I was at Lydia's house, and I was battling like 3 and 4 people. I got called, Chris, such and such is here. You coming over? Yeah, I'll be right over. And I would be over there, and we would be going at it, and it was all love. That was when I was in my 20s and early 30s, the mid to 30s. That has changed. YouTube has brought about people seeing a different side of me. People now see the side of me that people knew when I was a child. I went from a pro-Black radicalist, fight the power, to a jokester. I found my niche. I found joking when I did a couple of stand-up comedy shows. I found my joke. I'm funny. I love to laugh. It feels good to laugh. And then I became somewhat uh, known by you guys, et cetera, et cetera. And then known by you guys in the beginning, you probably, for those that was following me before, I was throwing stuff at y'all and they were calling me hurt. I had black women coming out the woodworks on me. As a matter of fact, if you listen to me today, when I was being conservative, you would say, oh, he wasn't always talking about black women like that. No, I talk like this about women of color because they attacked me. If you listen to me on the Talk Zone Radio Network, I was just casually talking, but then I would get attacked and I realized, wow, what did they hear to make them attack me? Now I'm aggressively putting foots in them for the ignorant ones, by the way, but I need y'all to follow me. So here's what I realized. People, when I regret the day that I'm somewhere and somebody say to me, because it happened, and I'm not going to mention the name, but I'm going to mention the name of somebody's husband. I'm going to just say somebody's husband would listen to my lecture and they would inbox me. And then I would be like, I would be looking at the inboxing and I would be like, how do I tell this person, yo, dude, chill out. This is why I don't like nobody talking to me about my videos in person. I don't. This is my job. I am not on this outside of that camera or that camera. All right. I'm in a world onto myself. But that person, because my friend got married and now her husband is like, well, why do the family like this guy? And he would just be like, blah, 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 blah. And then my man Big E, his brother would come at me. And his brother was like, yo, blah, 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 blah. And I remember I was talking on my personal Facebook and dudes start coming on my page, hitting me with a whole bunch. Everybody want to sound smarter than me. It got to the point where people would just listen to me to try to sound smarter than me. Can't go deep, aren't full perspective. You cheating on your wife, but you want to talk to me about intellect. You gun this, but you want to. I'm a full package, but I need y'all to follow me. So here's what I dread happening. I'm somewhere chilling. I got invited to a place and somebody seen some of my work, but they think that because I'm there, they're going to start questioning me about, well, you said this in one of your videos. Now, when somebody say to me, well, or somebody try to talk to me on an intellectual level in person, I'm not as foregoing. In person, my brain is going to various forums I spoke at, shows that I've been on, interviews, people interview me. Now I'm going there and saying, look, you ain't passionate about this. What's the name of your organization? There is no organization. How are you so passionate about this only when you're talking to me? So when I talk to individuals in person about this thing that I do, whatever, I'm ready to fuck you up. Really, I'm ready to just go ham on you. I'm not going to sit down there and allow somebody to go back and forth with me and they're dumb. Appreciate those thumbs up, y'all. Come on, stop with me. Don't be up with me here. And I learned that from based on when individuals was like, oh, I want to say this to them. No, leave your comment under the video. I'm an intellect. I'm smart. I'm low key. I'm humble. Very few places I go, I'm not the smartest one in the room. I know why I'm in the position I'm in. I know where I should be. I know where I'm not. I'm humbly about to get back there. I'm dedicating my life now to 1995, before I met Atia LaShawn Bradley in 1996. As a matter of fact, 2021 is 1995 part 3 in my brain. So I see it happening. I get invited someplace And some individual want to sound like they smarter than me as opposed to being a damn student. They want to try to challenge me on my intellect. The problem is I'm on some Chuck D stuff. Chuck said, I voice my opinion with volume. That's what you hear when you hear me speak. I speak with intellect. What that man just said is we are in an economic sick environment. What does that mean? An economic sick environment means you better steadfast on the cash that you get, or that's your S. Steadfast, or that's your S. Steadfast. And then what he said was, and this is Pastor Dowell. He's more famous than me. He got the word pastor in his name. He just said, nobody wants to hear black history from the perspective of a black man. He just said it. I heard what he said because I was there when he said it. He said, nobody wants to hear it. Now, let me tell you what I've learned. Individuals that are with their women and individuals that are with women are the most ones that will try to attack you because we're at the place now. Women are strong. Women don't need no they don't need no man. They don't need no man. So individuals, this is why I had to drop off my former co-host Antoine 50,000 watts. We was clashing because every time he did the show, he was sitting there in front of his wife. And I said, and one time we did a show, even the women was like, bruh, what the hell are you thinking? I mean, Chris, this dude is on something. I had a sister call me up after and said, yeah, so why do you have this guy doing a show with you? We can talk about it, and then we can act like it don't exist. Individuals with an agenda, individuals that get offended, it doesn't exist. But what Pastor Dowell just said, I heard what he said, because I was there when he said it. He just said, nobody wants to hear a black man talking about black history. That's what he said. He said that. And that's what you black men, you got to understand. That's the way it is. We are not at one with our women. We're not. Their whole perspective is we got a black woman in office. We got this and that. You got to find your way to deal with it. It's a hidden agenda. Like I said, you will never hear a Jewish woman saying to that man, I'm going to take you down in front of the Germans. Well, that nigga ain't acting right. Take him down in front of the Germans. You will never hear a Chinese woman saying, I take you down in front of Americans. You will never hear that. Nobody makes a mockery of the Holocaust that we've been through in life, but our women to us. Pastor Dowell just said, nobody wants to hear the perspective of a black man. Black history spoken from a black man. He just said that. Heard what he said because I'm saying when he said it. All right? That's what he just said. So now, back to Pastor Dowell.
All right, let's have a real discussion here about this Biden administration. Because unlike many people, I don't see this greatness that's allegedly supposed to be coming from this administration, all that was promised. As a matter of fact, what I see more than anything is I see jobs disappearing on an unprecedented level. And I do mean an unprecedented level. Hundreds of thousands of jobs have already been stroked away with a pen. I like to call him Executive Joe. And, I understand there's an executive branch, there's a legislative branch, and there's a judicial branch here in America. Believe me, I get it. But, I wonder how long we as American people going to continue to keep putting up with the same old rhetoric and the same old hot air continually again and again and again and again. I mean, we look at the facts of everything, and I'm dealing with facts here. Donald Trump helped the economy and stimulate the economy more than any president. And I'm talking about on the heels of when he inherited $24 trillion in debt that we already in this country, and he has stimulated this economy. And here's the big thing right here. When it comes to so-called alleged, quote-unquote, diplomacy, we really, truly can't argue with the man for putting America first. Because when you look at all the other presidents besides Reagan, they didn't put America first. As a matter of fact, we come dead last. And Joe Biden has done nothing but just continue business as usual. Executive order after executive order, impoverishing the people. I did a live broadcast the other day when one lady at a town hall meeting up there was asking for debt relief, because most people say that they can't even get to school. Matter of fact, you can't even go to college unless you indentured yourself or unless you get in debt. And of course, I tell people all the time, don't be a fool and go to college in this type of environment, this economic sick environment right here. Do whatever you can to save whatever money you have, but don't go out there and get in debt, because you don't get debt forgiveness for hospital bills. You don't get debt forgiveness for student loans. You can forget it. It ain't happening. And Joe told her flat out he ain't getting it. And then all I heard was a bunch of blah, 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 rhetoric, and a bunch of cognitive issues. And then I saw Anderson Cooper run in to do damage control many times where they were softballing that whole entire interview right there. And I just like, man, I was like, I wonder how long this thing is going to take afloat before a real revolution comes. That's what I wonder. Because don't get me wrong. That's the reason why on my Facebook page, allegedly, February is supposed to be Black History Month. So I've been posting Black history, and I've been taking it on the chin, because the people, they want to hear Black history in the vein and lenses that they want to hear it in, but they don't want to hear Black history from the perspective and point of view of a Black man.
Very well said. Thank you for that once again, Mr. Dowell, Pastor Dowell. So, Greg was like, I caught it, because he was talking about the fact that the Democrats, they are all for businesses. When Joe Biden got into office, that was the end of the political system as we knew it. America is now a corporate entity in its entirety, in full. Whatever corporate businesses want, that's what corporate businesses are going to get. It's going to happen. They're going to constantly hit us with waves and waves of things that the people need. So I'm going to break something down to you like this. It is said that this wave of the coronavirus has some nanotechnology inside of it, that once it gets inside you, it goes up to your brain. All right. If you ever watched the History Channel, you'll see a lot of stories and documentaries about how scientists in the past cut dogs in heads off and fuse them to another dog. How there was a two-headed dog and the doctor got arrested. There's a whole bunch of experimenting with people where they took an arm from one person and put it on another person. This is back in the early 20s and 30s, when we didn't have a whole bunch of systems in place that was deemed inhumane in other countries. Now a lot of stuff was happening. Well, this is in fact is still going on. It's just going on in a more civil perspective. So there are now corporations that's saying that there are, let's just say, 8 billion people on this planet. We would make a lot of money if we can get $5 from 8 billion people, $5 a piece, 8 billion. We'd make $40 billion in one instant. So they are all for creating pandemics, and we got the cure to the pandemic, and each one of these doses is going to cost $600 a piece, and the government is paying for it. This is why there's 19 trillion and trillion of dollars. This is money to pay for pandemics. And what happening is there's individuals that are getting kickbacks. Now I need y'all to follow me. When you have someone in office, when you have an administration in office that's not going to do this, it's kind of a live and let live perspective like the Republicans have. There's not going to be this agenda. People, what Pastor Dowell just said, don't go to college. He just said, don't go to college. The reason why Pastor Dowell said, don't go to college is because It's nothing that you're going to be able to do. They are about to outsource every perspective of jobs in the United States. This is what the Democrats do. They choke the economy so that you can rely on them. You can rely on them. I was watching Fast Five last night. Actually, I watched it twice. And what did that man say? He said, I come to this country and I give the people what they need. I don't come with tanks. I come with clean water, food, and for that, I own them. That's what he said. That's what he said. That's the perspective of how you win a war without tanks. You also heard that individual said when the Democrats got in office, they rounded up 5 Indian tribes. This is what they do. But for some reason, when that black ugly dude on YouTube talks about this, oh, that black ugly dude on YouTube. That's what they call me, that black ugly dude on YouTube. Pastor Dowell also made a reference to the fact that you can't be forgiven for hospital bills and student loans. He, in fact, was talking about bankruptcy. People, when you open your eyes and look, you'll understand the position you're in. There are individuals that are navigating themselves in the black community, especially, that's on some kumbaya.com nonsense. And the thing that kills me is when someone speaks about it and then someone rebuttals it with a perspective that's dumber than a bag of bricks. It just amazes me. It really does. I am so glad Pastor Dowell gets it. And he gets it because the guy knows facts. He does. He knows his facts. And excuse me, when you know facts, honestly, there's really nothing nobody can tell you. Keep things based on facts. Don't keep things based on your personal opinions, etc., etc. When you do that, I got a whole bunch of stuff in here. You'll never I did not save all that stuff. How did that stuff get in there? Okay, here we go. Okay. Now I'm gonna let y'all listen to a beautiful queen. A beautiful queen, because y'all gonna stop talking to me about Donald Trump being racist. That's what you're gonna do.
Racial equality and civil rights. When you think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party comes to mind? The Republicans or the Democrats? Most people would probably say the Democrats, but this answer is incorrect. Since its founding in 1829, the Democratic Party has fought against every major civil rights initiative and has a long history of discrimination. The Democratic Party defended slavery, started the Civil War, opposed Reconstruction, founded the Ku Klux Klan, imposed segregation, perpetrated lynchings, and fought against the Civil Rights Acts of the 1950s and 1960s. In contrast, the Republican Party was founded in 1854 as an anti-slavery party. Its mission was to stop the spread of slavery into the new Western territories with the aim of abolishing it entirely. This effort, however, was dealt a major blow by the Supreme Court in the 1857 case Dred Scott versus Sandford. The court ruled that slaves aren't citizens, they're property. The 7 justices who voted in favor of slavery, all Democrats. The 2 justices who dissented, both Republicans. The slavery question was, of course, ultimately resolved by a bloody civil war. The commander-in-chief during that war was the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, the man who freed the slaves. 6 days after the Confederate Army surrendered, John Wilkes Booth, a Democrat, assassinated President Lincoln. Lincoln's vice president, a Democrat named Andrew Johnson, assumed the presidency. But Johnson adamantly opposed Lincoln's plan to integrate the newly freed slaves into the South's economic and social order. Johnson and the Democratic Party were unified in their opposition to the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, the 14th Amendment, which gave blacks citizenship, and the 15th Amendment, which gave blacks the vote. All three passed only because of universal Republican support. During the era of Reconstruction, federal troops stationed in the South helped secure rights for the newly freed slaves. Hundreds of black men were elected to Southern state legislatures as Republicans, and 22 black Republicans served in the U.S. Congress by 1900. The Democrats did not elect a black man to Congress until 1935. But after Reconstruction ended, when the federal troops went home, Democrats roared back into power in the South. They quickly reestablished white supremacy across the region with measures like black codes, laws that restricted the ability of blacks to own property and run businesses, and they imposed poll taxes and literacy tests used to subvert black citizens' right to vote. And how was all of this enforced? By terror, much of it instigated by the Ku Klux Klan, founded by a Democrat, Nathan Bedford Forrest. As historian Eric Foner, himself a Democrat, notes, in effect, the Klan was a military force serving the interests of the Democratic Party. President Woodrow Wilson, a Democrat, shared many views with the Klan. He resegregated many federal agencies and even screened the first movie ever played at the White House, the racist film The Birth of a Nation, originally entitled The Klansman. A few decades later, the only serious congressional opposition to the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 came from Democrats. 80% of Republicans in Congress supported the bill, less than 70% of Democrats did. Democratic senators filibustered the bill for 75 days until Republicans mustered the few extra votes needed to break the logjam. And when all of their efforts to enslave blacks, keep them enslaved, and then keep them from voting had failed, the Democrats came up with a new strategy. If black people are going to vote, they might as well vote for Democrats, as President Lyndon Johnson was purported to have said about the Civil Rights Act. I'll have them voting Democrat for 200 years. So now, the Democratic Party prospers on the votes of the very people it has spent much of its history oppressing. Democrats falsely claim that the Republican Party is the villain, when in reality, it's the failed policies of the Democratic Party that have kept blacks down. Massive government welfare has decimated the black family. Opposition to school choice has kept them trapped in failing schools. Politically correct policing has left black neighborhoods defenseless against violent crime. So when you think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party should come to mind? I'm Carol Swain, professor of political science and law at Vanderbilt University for Prager University.
Tucker Carlson tonight. It's weird to say it, but this is the last day of the Trump administration. If you supported Donald Trump, that's a sad thing to face after 4 years. On the other hand, if you didn't support Donald Trump, if you're one of the many in our professional class who have made hating Donald Trump the very center of your life, this has got to be a pretty good day for you. You won. Your party now has control of everything. By tomorrow afternoon, Donald Trump will be gone for good. You got exactly what you wanted. You should be thrilled about that. You ought to be celebrating. But they're not celebrating. That's the remarkable thing. No one in the Democratic Party seems happy tonight. They're angrier than ever. Instead of taking victory laps, they are plotting revenge against the people they just beat. They're thinking of new ways to injure and humiliate and degrade their political opponents. make it impossible for them to work again, throw them in jail, destroy their lives. It's hard to describe how weird and strange and awful this is to watch. Imagine winning a tennis match in straight sets, then immediately leaping over the net and smashing your opponent in the face with your racket. It wasn't enough for you to win. You had to inflict physical pain. You couldn't be happy until another human being screamed in agony.
People, I love that. I actually just found that. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I love that because that is the Democratic Party. That is where they're at. You're not supposed to do what they've done. They've tried to, and since then, they tried to impeach the president yet again. And the amazing thing about black folks is they do not see that as anything wrong. But yet these same individuals put laws in place to do that to black people. I appreciate you guys for listening. I didn't want to be here this long, but the more and more I got into it, the better I felt. And I felt real good because I just love when I say things and people just don't listen. But then, because I want to be clear about something, I only say things, or listen, people that have intellect, they always say things from the perspective of good intent, and to see to it that your position is better off. I said this a couple of weeks ago, about a week ago, rather. I truly think that when I say things, it's the best thing that can be said at that time. But people don't listen. And for that, I'm the hated one. Have a good day, y'all.